Welcome back to the Social Impact Level Up podcast. This is where we blur the lines between business, nonprofit, and impact. I'm your host, Wendy V, and I'm a social impact strategist here to help you build a successful and sustainable legacy of social change. In this week's episode, we're going to hear from a social entrepreneur who has been on a journey to change the world just like you. If you are interested in social entrepreneurship, this is the place for you. Let's jump right into this week's episode. Hey everyone, we're here with another episode of the Social Impact Level Up podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Velos, or Wendy V, and I am here with my friend, Francini Estes. And she is going to tell us today about how she works with parents and how she's supporting parents through their journey, particularly moms. And so we are going to focus in on what do you do as a parent if you need help, and what types of parents can benefit the most from her support, what types of moms particularly. I might say parents, but I really mean moms. And we want to talk a lot about their kids and why it's so important that parents are there to serve their children. So this episode, a lot of you know me as your host. I do not have children. So I have to bring on experts to talk to you about having children. So this is one of my really good friends who is an expert and is working with a lot of moms and just supporting them. And we want to lift this up as a facet of social entrepreneurship, because social entrepreneurs are more than just their job. They're also humans who have a life, who have children, who have families to support. So we want to make sure that we're focusing in on this family aspect today, and how can we build strong families and strong children in the future. So Francini, I want to just invite you to come and talk a little bit more about who are you, what inspires you to do what you're doing? How did you get started in this journey? Like all of the things. Just introduce us a little bit to you and your journey.
Oh, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And a little bit about me. I'm Brazilian and I got married with an American, and we moved to Utah 20 years ago. We're really close to celebrate our 20th anniversary, wedding anniversary, excited. Um I am an adoptive mom of 3 children. We adopted 3 kids from the foster care system, which they are the light of our lives. And the way I started, I will never forget. It was one day I found myself on the floor inside of my closet, just crying unconsolably. And I was just feeling physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted. I just, um, I just felt like stretched too thin. I was overwhelmed. I wanted to keep going, but I just couldn't find the sources. I didn't know how to keep going. And that's when I actually heard a podcast, a Raper podcast. I heard a podcast. I heard a life coach, and she said she helped moms. And I was like, what? What is that? Like, is there as life coaches just for moms, and how can they help? So I started listening to her podcast, and then I hired a life coach. And my life literally transformed. Not that my circumstances around me didn't change that much. I still had sleepless nights, a child that struggled, that one of my kids has autism. So I still had the longest tantrums, but I just had this different energy. She helped me work and find out what was holding me back. She helped me find some peace of mind. So that's when I said, okay, this has helped me so much. How can I share this? And I just felt called to do this. So I decided to make this my mission. So I went and I got certified as a weight and life coach by the Life Coach School, which is school that I think is the best for life coaches. Right. Got certification. And then after that, I started going to different conferences and getting training. I decided even to go back to college and get the new research out there. I was like, okay, what is new out there? And I start educating myself more and more. I learned how to regulate my nervous system so I could help my moms regulate my nervous system. So I don't work moms just with the cognitive part. but we work with the wholeness. So I created a mom mental gym in which we work with moms on their physical, emotional, mentally, spiritually, all the aspects, so they can get fit emotionally, mentally, and emotionally fit, so they can take care of themselves and then take care of their children. Because all we want as moms is see our children thrive, but we can't help them if we are a mess. 'Cause that's how I felt like I was. I was like, "I'm a mess."
I'm sure you were, and you were just doing your best you could at the moment.
Exactly, and that's the thing to though, is that sometimes that's the how a mom feels like. It's just that, "I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough." And most of the time, they are doing more than enough. And that's what the coach I was like, okay, let me help you see all the amazingness that you have been doing, right? And that's what it's like. So it helps you get that peace of mind too, right? And that's what I was like craving so much because I thought that was the physical part, and yeah, of course it was too, but it was more the mental noise, that's negative self-talk and thinking that I'm not enough and think that that was hurting me more than the physical part of it. So,
And I think the part about you realizing you needed help and reaching out for help and then accepting the help and changing your behavior, there's a lot of bravery in that process because it requires a lot of trust to, think, okay, someone can help me. This can be different and to see the value in the new way that could be for you because you didn't know that you were going to have a better outcome. You just trusted the process and trusted this coach.
so it's so true. And the thing is, sometimes as moms we think that if we reach out for help, it means that we can't do it, that we're not enough. We just want to be superheroes. And and like you said, and actually it takes more courage to accept help and reach out for help. Like, that is where I think it takes more courage to do that than just sit in that, you know, in that place that you feel helpless and disempowered. So, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, and when you're not empowered to keep going and it becomes really like a struggle for you to keep, like you said, serving your kids, showing up for your family. And the other part that I loved about what you're talking about is the idea of holistic wellness being part of your journey, where you kind of reframed for your business to include this physical, mental, kind of like mental, emotional, and um, connection to your family, which would be like social relational wellness. So all of that together jives with what I talk about holistic wellness. But I just am curious, how did you come to using like more of a holistic lens for your business than just saying, okay, well, I'm just going to help moms with parenting skills, for example? Like, how did you just decide in your model?
Oh, yes. Okay. That because that's the kind of help I needed. That's how I'm just like, okay, that's where we need to start. Because what happens with us is when we are in survival mode, and that's what happens when most of us, right? We're in this fight or flight, fawn, or right? What are those four S? When we're in that state, our prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking part of our brain, shuts down. So there's not much you can do that. You cannot think your way out. So you have to drop to the body. And that's where I start with my clients. It's like, okay, let's see what's in there. Let's connect to our bodies. Like, because I see this disconnection because of this agitation and because of this vibrations that we feel in our body. We want to disconnect. We want to drink wine or drink coffee or scroll on social media or whatever it is, right? Everybody has a different outlet, or overwork. And for me, it was that. I was just like, I just need to keep myself busy, so I escape from that, making them even worse, right? So I help moms and that I'm just like, okay, let's regulate our nervous system to dropping to our body. So we work with breathing. We work with, I teach them how to really process their feelings in their bodies. And once they get out of this, what we call it, the sympathetic nervous system, we go to a parasympathetic nervous system, which is where you feel calm, and your brain start opening up for you again. And that's when we go in and it's just like, okay, let's see what's in there. Let's see what's holding you back, what's causing you overwhelm. So I just don't give them a list of things for them to do. Okay, start doing yoga or start journaling. I don't believe, I think those things are amazing. I actually do those things. But I'm just saying, I don't give that list of things for them to do. We do is we go in and we see what is holding you, what is causing this overwhelm, and then we go from that, and then of course we do include some of the things that will help them get out of that. But that's where my whole, and we do a lot of spirituality too. I love just connecting with ourselves,
Mhm.
like listening to your inner voice, because again, we're not listening because we're so disconnected. We cannot even hear ourselves. We go for outside help. So I hope my mom said, let's open your brain. You have all the answers in there. Let me help you. I
Yeah,
promise
you're
you,
you're
we have
your
all
own
the answers.
solution. You have all your own solutions within you already. You just have to unlock them. And you mentioned, like, some of the concerns that parents or moms particularly come to you for their needs that you're kind
Mhm.
of helping them with, but can you rattle off, like, if I was a mom and I didn't even know that I needed help, what would I be looking for? Almost like, what are the signs and symptoms I need help, that I would need you to come and help me intervene in myself. So what are some of those concerns that moms have before they approach you? And then how do you connect that to, like, what you serve them with? Like, how do you select what you're doing?
Oh, excellent question. So we have a variety because I treat, I don't treat because it's not a treatment. Um, I'm not a therapist. I'm a life coach, but I see clients with a variety of things. I have parents with special needs, and those moms, most of the time, they are grieving the life that they thought they would for themselves and for their children. So they don't even know that that's what they need. They need grieving. So I help them in that area. I help, again, moms that they are stretched so thin because of the needs of their children, of their family, even those that do not have kids with special needs. Like you take your kids to school and they have the extracurricular stuff. And so I help moms find that calm and find their identity outside of their role as a mother. That's another thing that happens. They identify them as moms. Like I'm a mom. That's I made sure that the first thing I just said when you asked about me, I was like, I am a mom and I love being a mom. It's like, it's one of my favorite things to be, but that's not all who I am. That's just a role and not my identity. So I help them find their identity. They forget what they like. I ask them most of the time, it's like, so what do you love to do? And just like what? Me? Like, it's like, let's go back when you were like a teenager. What
Who
do
I
you like?
have I have time to enjoy myself. What?
So those are some of the things that the parents come with me that again they don't even know. Like you said, they come in and it's like I'm I'm overwhelmed. I burn out. That's all they can tell me. Like I'm stuck. Another word that they use a lot is like I'm stuck in this rut. I'm stuck, and I just can't get out. And again, I know that feeling because I've been there. Parents with kids with special needs, especially, they have a lot of appointments. So, and they have to juggle with therapies and doctor's appointments and all of that. And I work also with foster parents and men talk about appointments and talk about they're not predictable. Like here we have a visit with a biological mom that doesn't show up, a social worker that promised something and didn't come. And so we have all those little things and that comes in and you are just in this ball of like, I'm a mess. That's all they tell me. And just like, I'm a mess. So I help them just like uncover, like, okay, let's see. What first of all, like I said, I just like, let's get you to baseline, right? Let's find a calm. And I think that's another thing that's really hard on parents, all the parents, but especially parents with the special needs, is their children have major behavior. So for you to keep your calm when another person, in this case, a child, is completely losing it, it's really hard. We want to mirror that emotion and just offering the calm in the place. So if you when you're in constant that constant every single day, day in, day out, it's children screaming and child and they're dealing with major behavior and then taking to like just helping them find tools to just okay, how can you stay calm when everything around you is chaos? So that's another thing that but like you said, they most of the time just like, I don't
I'm not even sure why I'm here.
I don't know. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
So we just go and start discovering. I'm like, life coach, the way I practice coaching is not so when you have a broken arm, you just don't go and start taking aspirin or whatever painkiller to help heal the pain. You want to go and you want to get an X-ray and say, where is that? Let's really find the cause and let's treat, not just treat the symptom. So I don't just go get them a list of things like, oh, let's simplify your life, which I also help. We do build systems that help them simplify their lives. I do that too. But that is not all. Actually, that is the least important part. Because when you find out, right, what's happening, that just comes like way easier. And it's like, oh, that's what all it was. Now I know how to fix it. So that's what we do. We just help them find calm amid the chaos, identify why they are burnout, create more time to spend on themselves
Mhm.
without sacrificing time with the family, because that's the first thing that they're gonna say. Is like, oh no, I don't have time for improve their relationships with themselves, their spouse, and all of that. Get their mind and body in shape. Like I said, that's what we do. Simplify their lives, create more fulfillment in their lives because they are in survival mode most of the time. Find again, like I said, find who they are outside of them as outside of their role as a mother. That's another way that we help them. And then I just help them become to a better version of themselves and start showing up the way they want. Because right now they just feel stuck.
Yeah, and they maybe don't even know what showing up, in a different way could be because, when you get to that point of burnout, you're so used to what burnout feels like that you forget, like, the other emotions or thoughts or things you used to be able to access that are no longer accessible to you because you're in this, like, deep burnout. So I can appreciate that from like, overwhelmed life point, even without
Mhm.
having kids, it's
Oh,
hard to get to that point, I can imagine. If you then add a child with behavioral problems and doctor's appointments and, visitation and like all these other things, it would just be a lot. So how, with foster parents particularly, because this is something I'm passionate about. I used to work a long time ago in helping young people emancipate from the foster care system. And it's a really particular niche of
yeah.
people who experience the system and not for like the best reasons, right? Like I don't think very many people want to be involved with this system. But as a foster parent, you are volunteering to take on this role in your life and all of the things that come with it. So how do you like what do you see as some of the biggest barriers or issues or challenges that foster parents particularly face? And you mentioned a few of them already, like the nuances, but how can or how do you support foster parents to continue to show up to serve their role, which is a very important role in transforming this young person's life? So what does that look like in your work?
Yeah. So as a foster mom, and it's so good that I have experience with those things. So it's easier to find empathy and find the answers because I had to find the answers for myself. I think the greatest thing with foster parenting is we feel so disempowered. We feel like foster parents feel that they depend on the system, depend on everything to work. And if that doesn't work, now what? Right? They don't have, sometimes they don't have educational rights. They don't have medical rights. So we want to help the child get a diagnosis, but guess what? You can't take it because now we need biological mom to sign a paperwork that the social worker couldn't get to her because she has a million cases and she didn't get to that one yet, and it's just like so I think the biggest thing that I found with with the foster parents, and I can say that for myself, is just disempowering. You feel so um, victimized by the system, by the biological parents, because they say they're going to show up, they don't show up, or actually you want to help them, but the system doesn't. It's just like there's this whole thing. So how I help my parents, it's for them to get empowered again. I teach them that our feelings are not created by our circumstances, are outside things. They are created by the interpretations that we have of what's happening outside of us. So it is a completely mind shift. And that when that mind shift happens, it is magical. It's so amazing that you feel empowered again. It is just like, oh, okay, because the way you experience your life completely changes, even though the things again against outside of you doesn't change. But now because you see it with different lenses, you experience differently. I tell my clients it's just like if you have a glasses with red lenses on, all you're gonna see is red things. So sometimes you just have to take those lenses, the red ones out. If you want to see a different color, you have to put different lenses on. And that's what I help them. It's like, let's see what's holding you back here. What is creating that emotion that you're having right now? What happened? And then we go through specific things that's happening. They bring me specific things that's happening. And then we go through all the interpretations that they have in their minds that created their feelings, that's creating their actions, that's making them show up the way they want. Because now, because they are feeling in a certain way or disempowered or mad or angry with the system or with the social worker, now guess what? They're not showing up as the parent that they want for that child. And then I said, okay, so how can we see this in a different way so you can create a different feeling so you can show up the way you want? And that's where the magic happens because now you are empowered. It's like, it doesn't matter what happens outside of me, it's what I'm going to think of it, how I'm going to interpret this. And you can just do that when you regulate it. So that's the reason I said I work with all the parts because I cannot get a mom that is in survival mode and try to help her use her thinking part of the brain, her brain when she's completely dysregulated. So we do some of the other part first. But that's basically what we do. And man, talk about barriers. That's all there is. I think you probably know a lot of them when it comes to foster because you don't have the
Everything
rest.
is a potential barrier, like you said, it's like the whole system itself is a barrier and how it's set up and all the different parts and the requirements and how things happen, the processes you have to use and the court dates, like everything is just a barrier. And, I mean, I even had family members involved in the foster care system, and it's like the ways that business is done is just not humane and it's not human centric. So, as a human going through that process, yeah, that could be very difficult to navigate when you also are then trying to be with this child that you're now a parent of. Um,
Ah,
so yeah, that could be really exhausting for folks. I could see that.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there is that's what I absolutely love life coaching because of that. It's just like when you know that it doesn't matter what's happening outside, it just really does not matter. And you learn how to you really use that tool. And that's what I help my parents self-coach. They don't have to come to me every time something happens. They learn the tools and they start using them themselves. And it is just and they get so excited, said, "Oh, you're not gonna believe it. I was able to do this and
I
that
did
and
it
that."
myself. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The celebration of picking up this skill and using this skill is a really big one. And it's great to be able to reinforce that behavior of like, yeah, you can do it without me.
Yeah. And it's so empowering, right? Like I don't need anybody. Like I just get and of course sometimes we get really stuck in big things. I get coached at least twice a month. So I yeah, so I of course there are some other things that because when you're in it, you need an outside person that's just like, okay, let me show you your brain from again, like a different lenses, right? Because sometimes we see our lives through like a toilet paper thing. What is that called? Toilet paper thing, and you just see the
Yeah. I tell people it's like when you have your hood up. And you have your hood up, you can't see beyond the brim of your hood, and, like, heaven forbid you have the hood with the fur, then you're never gonna see where you're going. But, yeah, if you can't see beyond that scope of what you can see, but coaching, like, definitely helps you look at different areas that could be improved and examine them further, and I think that that's a big thing for people to understand is, like, it's worth the investment if you're ready to do the work.
Yeah.
Where it becomes not necessarily worth the investment for people is people who think they're ready, they try to go into a coaching situation, and then they can't actually fulfill their part of it, and they might feel like, "Oh, now I'm more overwhelmed because I have this person asking me to do to regulate my emotions."
And the funny thing is, like, it's not even as hard as they think it will be. It really is like the stuff that I ask my moms to do because I don't give them like hard homeworks. We already have so much. And I'm not here to give you one more thing for you to do. Like you're breathing, you're practicing your breathing when you're taking a shower, right? You're doing some self care when you're brushing your teeth. I'm not here to give you one more thing for you to do. I'm here to give something that's going to help you create even more time, be even more efficient and help you even more, not to do one more thing, So I always tell them that. It's like, this is not one more thing on your to-do list, which I don't even believe in to-do lists. Not one more thing on your to-do list. So throw away your to-do list. It is, yeah. But you're right. That you have to want to change. And that is the big thing, right? Because if you
Mhm.
don't believe you can be helped and you can help yourself, and then there's no change. You have to open your mind, be open for it. And definitely.
Yeah, and you said something important too that I wanted to reiterate because I've heard this before. If you were gonna go to a coach, don't go to a coach who doesn't have their own coach.
Man.
Because it is a process and you do need to be coached. And I have a newer coach that not the one I was working with before, I'm on my second coach. But I think, you get to different levels, you go to a different purpose and you gotta kind of find the right coach that matches the new purpose or the new place that you're at. And, I like you said, you get coached twice a month. I'm going through group coaching twice a month. I think there's value in the experience yourself. So hopefully people caught that.
I'm so glad you find that out because if you're a coach and you believe in coaching, so that means you're getting coached, right? Because if you don't believe in it, like, why are you even doing that? And yeah, and again, it's because of that, right? Sometimes we need to expand our view and being we're so in it, and it's hard if we don't have like a really good coach that's opens your mind to yourself and just like and help you see what's in there.
Yeah. I had one of my people that I coached was he was saying, I'm addicted to the process. I started laughing. I said, I can tell because every time I give you the next part of the process, you're like on top of the homework. So, it's always great to see when people latch on to things that you're sharing with them as skills that they can use that are gonna make things more efficient. Like you said, they're gonna help you be more effective. They're gonna help you put your energy where you want to put it. But sometimes you can't see that you need to make that transition in order to get the outcome. Like you want the outcome, but you don't know how to get yourself there. And the coaching is just a way to open up those doors for you to take the actions to get there and so I love that example that you gave. And I wanted to ask you if you could just pick one piece of tangible advice for a mom to hear. So if there's a mom who's listening to this podcast and wants to show up better to serve her child, like what would that one piece of advice that you would say, this is the foundation, you have to start here?
I think it's taking care of yourself. We need to take care of yourself because you can show up. And it is my whole idea is just like you have to feel better before you can help your child. So, and it's how I do that. And again, I told them it's not like on a homework and it's nothing like you thinking taking care of yourself is like going to the spa or getting your nails done. I'm talking about taking care of the negative self talk. It's like that bullying in your mind saying, "You're an idiot. Come on. Do you think you ever gonna be able to get that done? Oh, again, you messed up again." Like that is the kind of work. So I tell my mom, so if you could get out of this, just one thing out of this, I would say start loving yourself. And I will give you like specific ways that you can do that I start doing that it really changed my relationship with myself. And then, of course, because I feel better, I can serve others around me better, including my children. So one of the things is I do when I first wake up in the morning, I just clean up the mental mess. Like you wake up in the morning and there's just like, oh my goodness, I have so much to do. Oh, how am I gonna oh, like, and I cannot forget that. And I'm just like, so I breathe, I watch my thoughts pass by. I don't try to resist and I don't try to just like just watch it go. I'm just like, oh, watch it go. Oh, yep, watch it go. I just watch it pass by. I look myself in the mirror, even maybe when you brush your teeth, and I'm just like, I love you. I'm here for you. We got this. And and then we start through the day just going. And then in the even middle of the day, sometimes I stop myself again and pick something that you're already doing. So like if in the middle of the day you drink a cup of tea, like I love my tea in the afternoon. When I drink my tea, I just like, you're doing great job. Even though you didn't do that you said you're going to do, I'm still proud of you. I love you anyway. And it's that self-love that you're gonna be able to just serve better and do more. So there's anything I could offer is that. And it's so funny because mom thinks that is the selfish thing that there is, and actually is the opposite. It is the most unselfish thing you can do is love on you. Because when you love on you, that spreads. And then you can love more. It's just it is just amazing. For me, that one of the biggest thing that I start doing it was that I'm just like, look at yourself in the mirror, say I love you and take care of you and just be proud of you no matter what. So so if I could give them something, that would be that. Start taking care of you.
Yeah, and I love it because it's free, right? It's like something that you just have to give yourself space and time to do these practices, but you give really concrete things like adding it to some other thing you're already doing that could be an act of self-love, making space in your daily schedule for this, waking up and looking at your morning routine and how you're entering your day and reformatting that if needed. Like there's so many tangible pieces that you just gave in one piece of advice turned into 20 pieces of advice, yeah. Yeah, I know. I love it. You ask her for one, she gives you like 50 ideas, but it's great. But it was all around the same topic, right? Like these are just tangible ways that you can do those things and to practice the self-love and to have the right narrative with yourself for expansion and growth in the future and to show up, confidently for the people that you want to serve. Like, those are all really important practices, and I was laughing because 'cause I'm, like, over here with my tea, and I'm like, "Wait, what did she tell me to tell myself?" Hold on. I had to listen to this episode again and be like, "Okay, I'm having my tea. I love you." But I think it's great. And I think this has been such a fantastic conversation. I just wanted to give you a chance to reintroduce yourself and tell people, who you are, where they can find you, what the best channels are to reach you. If you have something going on that you want to share with us that people can get involved in, that's also welcome. And yeah, this is anything you want to share, and then we'll close up the conversation.
Sounds great. So again, my name is Francini Estes, and I'm the owner of Francini Estes Coaching, and I offer a few free services because, like I said, this is my calling. So on Fridays, I have what I call FFB, which is free Feel Better coaching sessions for mothers, only mothers of kids with special needs and foster moms. I do offer help for all the moms, but those Fridays is just reserved for those moms. I also have short videos that I have on my social media, on my Instagram, Mom and Two Gym, and my Facebook is Francini Estes Coaching. I also starting a podcast next month, so I'm super excited. It's Mom and Two Gym, the podcast. And my biggest the thing that I'm most proud of it that I absolutely love is my membership program, which is Mom Mental Gym, where I help moms feel better by getting mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually fit so they can better care of themselves and their children. Because after all, the greatest desire of a mom is to see their child thrive. but they can't do that if they are not fit themselves. So thank you so much for having me. I actually do have something, another free thing that I want to make sure that I offer here is an on-demand masterclass. They can go on my website, which is franciniestes.com. And then the masterclass is how to become, it's no, 8 steps to become a more patient mom. 8 steps to becoming a more patient mom. Yeah, that's that. And so you can go there and watch it for free. And you're going to get lots of good stuff out of that.
Oh, I love it. And it's great to talk about this because, this podcast is all about social entrepreneurship, but we also talk about how people can't move away from what they're doing at home to go and serve others outside of their home. You have to do both. And so this episode is just focused mostly on you as a social entrepreneur and a parent or a mom, particularly. But all of these offerings sound so good that I'm like, I want to be part of these conversations. No, it's great. And I think that the free classes and thinking about, free resources for people is always something I appreciate as social entrepreneurs because people want to know, what are they investing in and that you're able to help them. And so offering free resources is a really great way to do that. And so this is a good example for people to see how you've integrated the things you're passionate about in your business and the focus of your business and serving different populations, but making them open with no barriers by being free, on a regular basis to people, which is amazing. So I wanted to just draw that as well. I don't know if you have anything you want to say about that, but just in terms of the offerings you just described to people, I think those are really good examples of social entrepreneurship and how you are using your values as a person in your business to create space for people.
Yeah, I always want to, even before I started this, my first idea really was service. I want to serve these moms that I've not just been there, I'm there. I still have kids at home. So I get it. I want them, they feel really lonely, especially those moms that have kids with special needs. So I want to tell you, you're not alone. I'm here. Like, and there's a whole group of moms inside of my mom and gym. There's a whole group of moms that we are together in this together. We learn together. We do tons of things. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have you. It's good to see you. And thank you for being here and being a guest on our show. We really appreciate it. So, anyone who's listening, if you want to connect with Francini, we'll be putting all of her links into the show notes. And so that way you can get all of these wonderful free gifts and access to her resources as you need. So, thanks for being here and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Social Impact Level Up podcast. It's been awesome to interview today's guest, and I hope that you leave inspired to take action. If you're looking for any of the information we spoke about, it's probably down in the show notes. Make sure that you're checking them out and you're clicking on any of the links that seem exciting to you. If you are looking for a coach or a consultant to help you with your social impact or your sustainability, reach out to me via my website, hop on my email list, or jump into one of my programs. All of the links are below. So excited to have you as part of the collective. Make sure that you come back and join us for another episode next week.